Thanks all you for coming. Another amazing night here in Auckland. The gate tonight was 1,150,428 New Zealand dollars. Attendance was 8,649. Bonuses, fight of the night was Hunt and Lewis, and performance of the night, Ben Wynn and Dan Hooker. All four win $50,000 US dollars. Available for questions if there's any questions.
Yeah, Joe, obviously it was a good night for the home fighters in New Zealand. I just want to kind of ask, what that means for the future of the market when they have successful nights like that. Does that help fuel the UFC's desire to return to a market?
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, anytime we have local talent that's making a difference, it makes it a lot easier to go back and sell tickets and do sponsorship deals, do TV deals. So when we look at a market like New Zealand, especially being a pay-per-view market, transactional, it's important to come here, whether it's once every 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. So the expectation is that we'll be back the next couple of years.
And all week long, people have been kind of talking about a potential November date in Australia. Do you have any news on that? Is that firm? I mean, is there anything that you can confirm that you guys will be back in this region? Yeah,
we're 100% going to be back. I think it's the third week in November. We haven't decided a city yet, but I think it's going to be usual suspects: Melbourne, Sydney. So we'll see where it goes. But I'm sure we'll be able to announce that in the coming months. But we'll definitely be back this year, and then. Next year, obviously everyone knows the news with Western Australia getting over the line. The hope is first quarter, first event in Perth, and we're working towards that now.
You've obviously seen a lot of events. Was that decibel level there tonight up there with the loudest you've heard? Because it seemed like it from where we were sitting.
I think for, definitely on a, per capita basis, with less than 10,000 in the building and it getting that loud was pretty impressive. And then, just the way to end the card, I think it was 5 straight finishes. That main card was on fire. It was unbelievable. So it definitely culminated with Mark's win, and, I think the crowd left very happy. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll have the fighters come out and answer some questions.
Daniel, a very impressive performance from you tonight. I know it was a big moment for you. Have you had a chance to kind of soak it in and think and reflect on? I mean, what did this whole experience mean to you?
Yeah, well, it's a night I'll remember for the rest of my life. It stacks up there with the first show. I'm going to get away to my parents' farm and kind of take a couple of days and just reflect on it and relax. It hasn't really hit me yet. I'm just kind of carried on as normal. I had to kind of block the crowd out leading into the fight. Just kept my head down and laser focused on the fight. I had a serious threat in front of me, and Ross Pearson, he's no joke. He's one of the best fighters in the world, so I had to stay focused on the fight, really. But yeah, looking up after that finish and just seeing the crowd and hearing them, it's the same as the first show. That's one of the loudest crowds I've come across, man. Those New Zealand fans, they got some lungs on me.
Talk about how the fight was playing out, because you looked really good on the feet, but he did start having a little bit of success in the second round. Can you just talk about how you felt it was going, and did you see that the knee was going to be there at some point?
Yeah, like in the first, I was keeping my range well, and just being up at lightweight, like I got like a lot more gas in the tank, and I was getting halfway through the second, and I just wasn't tired at all. So I just, in my head, I felt like I hadn't gotten a fight yet, so I just kind of started pushing forward and biting down, and Ross was doing the same, and I kind of wanted to give him that thing, and I was starting exchanging, and it was my coaches, they're telling me to chill out, get your range back, just relax, find that range. I took that step back, and that's what set up that knee. Yeah, pretty much.
And I guess that you kind of touched on it there, but the way you felt tonight, is that a guarantee lightweight's the right division for you, and that's where your future lies?
Yeah, I'm never going back to featherweight.
Daniel, I see your partner over there. Is she going to get half of your 50K bonus? Or?
Hey, she gets a lot. What are you talking about? In charge of the finances, right?
So obviously moving up a weight class, did the power of your opponent feel any different to what you've been used to down at 145?
No, I can't say that. Like I just was focused on myself. Like I just felt strong. I felt fit. I felt just just like a completely different fighter. I felt like myself, pretty much. Like that's how I train. That's how I compete in the gym. And I'm not, draining myself to get down to 45. I just get to carry that natural weight into the fight. So it's just natural to me to get back to 55.
So you've had Hangman for Japan and a couple of other cool slogans in the past. Is there anything you want to sort of promote this time around?
Yeah, we'll just take the time and looking at November in Sydney or Melbourne, the next show in Australia, jump on that and kind of break the voodoo for this one.
Dan, it felt like you actually threw a lot more volume in this fight, maybe compared to your past couple of ones. Was that a tactic that you had bringing in, or was that just due to the fact you had more energy because you hadn't lost it on your weight cut?
Yeah, no, I just had heaps more gas in the tank. Like I feel like I barely scratched the surface of that fight. Like I didn't get tired at any kind of stretch of that fight. So, 55 is the weight class. I just caught him with that knee. Lucky. Yeah, it's nothing else, man.
Dan, Ross looked like he was having a bit of a chirp to you out there. What was he saying?
He just said fair play, man. Nothing but respect. We both live by the sword, die by the sword. If the same would have happened to me, it would have been nothing but respect as well. We're both professionals, so there's no hard feelings to it. It's just business. Could have happened to either of us.
And how does tonight's performance, especially taking away the extra 50,000, compare to first time round?
Yeah, no, 50 G's will help, bro. I ain't complaining about that, bro. No, that's sweet. Yeah, that's US dollars, so that's like $1 million New Zealand peanuts. Done.
Dan, what did it feel like describe how it felt like being on a card with 3 Kiwis all winning as well, and what do you feel like that's done for the sport here?
Yeah, to watch Luke was he did a phenomenal performance against Dominic. Dominic's a real threat. He put on a show. Really, we're just the tip of the iceberg, to be honest. Like me, Luke, both homegrown guys. We came up fighting on the same shows first time, but it's really just the tip of the iceberg. There's guys that are really ready for UFC right now. Kai Kara France, Kieran Joblin is another one, the stonecutter at lightweight. He's another killer. Israel Adesanya, John Vake. So that's 4 names right there, different weight classes that can not only compete but like destroy guys in the UFC. Tip of the iceberg, just me and Luke, man. New Zealand's got so much more talent to showcase. Thank you.
Derek, a big win for you. Obviously, it doesn't get much better than what you did tonight, but I guess talk about it. I mean, how did you feel out there this evening?
I felt good after. I was sitting home a lot after the Anderson, after the Whitaker, questioning myself a lot. I go from 5 first-round stoppages in 5 wins in a row in the first round, and then I lose that fight with Whitaker, just being overzealous, really trying to hunt for a title shot, opposed to just being a part of the process. And then I go and take a short notice fight against Anderson, feel I did enough to get the win and don't get the win there. So, yeah, it definitely sucked being at home for a while.
You touched on it a little bit in your post-fight speech, but I think a lot of people were concerned about your training, how prepared were you going to be, what's going on. Can you talk about, I guess, what your situation is? I mean, did it end up being beneficial for you and kind of what you see for yourself moving forward in that regard?
Yeah, I'm getting older, and my kids are getting older. So it's kind of tough to, make those trips out to Albuquerque back when I was 25, 26, and just stay out there for 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm just trying to find better ways to do it. So, I think I'm going to probably go out there and meet with Greg and, work with those guys for the early part, and then when I'm at home, I got a guy in Atlanta, Manu. He trained Brian Stan. I think Douglas Lima, Asensia, a lot of those guys. He's a really good stand-up guy. Been in Thailand for a long time. He's right there for me. I can go to Atlanta, 45-minute flight, there back, go for 2 days, and get back home to my little one. So it's definitely been working. A lot of patience in my striking, and it's been coming along.
Very nice. And you touched on, too, the Anderson fight. We talked about it beforehand. I mean, I think a lot of people had it going your direction. But is that one that you want to try to get again? I mean, I know he doesn't have very many fights. Do you want to try to run that back, or do you feel like you just put it in the past and move on?
I don't know. That fight left such a sour taste in my mouth because, when you go out here, you fight, whether the fight is fun, exciting, or snoozer, Like I said, before that, out of my 6 fights, 5 of them ended in the first round. So if I go against Anderson and, it's a decision and it's a bad fight, so what? I performed, 5 or 6 fights. I think it should be judged fairly. And, when you go into a fight and you look at the stats, it's very clear. I mean, the guy barely hit me that fight. I hit him, I took him down. He defended some of my takedowns. But, I mean, I definitely should have got that decision.
There's a big fight coming up in a few weeks between 2 guys that you've fought before, and Rob and Yoel. How do you see that fight going?
That's an interesting fight. I like USADA. USADA been, putting the hold on a lot of guys. So, I mean, hey, you look at that fight with Romero, I kick myself, and I look at myself, and I'm like, Derek, are you going to keep coming out here and being stupid and just rushing people, blitzing people? Set it up. Take your time, So, that's what I'm doing. But, I look at that fight. A minute and 30 seconds left in that fight, I would have easily won that decision 30-27, So both guys are surging high, taking nothing away from either one of them. I think it'll be a good fight. Whoever can impose, they will. I can see both guys winning that fight.
How do you explain, sort of the balance that you've sort of showed in the last 3 fights? Like, you come out all guns blazing against Rob and obviously get caught. With Anderson, you're a little bit more circumspect, and today you took your time and looked for your shot. What was your mindset? What's the difference in mindset? Why were you so different in 3 separate fights?
Just Derek, stop being so stupid. I've been sitting at home moping for months. God, I was stupid. I wake up in the middle of the night or wake up in the morning man, that was stupid. Just thinking of the previous fights. That was just stupid. You got to be more a part of the process. Still need to go train, all these hours and then go out there and try to get it done unrealistically. Set it up. Take your time. So, yeah, just slapping myself so many times.
You mentioned post-fight Antonio Carlos Jr. You obviously came out of this one, no damage, healthy, feeling good. So how quickly do you want to get back in there?
Pretty soon. I just bought a house, so yeah, it would have been a sour note to buy a house on a loss. But I just bought a house. I want to get back, get settled in that, just kiss my little ones. And yeah, the guy want to call me out, I'll fight anybody. I don't care. I'm pretty sure I fought probably 4 of everybody ranked ahead of me. 4 guys ranked ahead of me. So at this point, I just want to get out there, get more experience, and just fight anybody. If a guy's calling me out and it makes sense, you have a good record in the UFC. I think he's probably about 6-2 in the UFC. That's good enough, So yeah, I'm just interested in fighting at this point, kind of like Cowboy.
Thanks, Derek.
All right, thank you guys.
Just throw the rhythm on. Stays right where it is.
What's up, everyone? Jeez, I get my own seat. Wow. Cool.
Well, Mark, congratulations on a big victory for you tonight. Just want to ask kind of how you felt about your performance, how you felt in there tonight, and also, could you feel Derek breaking over time as the fight was wearing on?
Look at anything in my nose? I don't think so. Anyway. No, Derek's a tough guy. It was just a matter of time. He started getting tired, and you know what happens at the top end if you get tired. You start getting it, so it's a matter of time, and that's what happened, yeah.
How about your own performance? Did you feel that you performed at a peak level tonight?
I felt pretty good. The cut, there wasn't much of a cut. I ate all the way up to the day before the weigh-ins. I had a great camp, and it was the main thing. I didn't really have to cut any weight. Didn't cut anyway. And the day off to rehydrate the glycogen levels is pretty amazing. So, yeah, felt pretty good with the performance.
You mentioned all week long, and even tonight, you said if it did happen to be the last time, you're fine with it. Is there a possibility that had this not gone your way, had it been a loss, that you were truly considering maybe quitting, maybe calling it a career?
I don't think so. I mean, I love to get beat up. Shucks, there's nothing else I'm good at. But, I got a couple more fights I want to finish my contract, and that's it. So, why not see the contract out and then retire?
Just 2 more, you said?
I think so. I don't know.
3? All right. He's got 3 more. All right. And lastly, I want to ask you, you took a stand, and you've been on this thing, we got to get steroids out of the sport. Do you know what the right answer is for it? Is USADA the right thing? Well, I know you want the financial punishment to go up, but is it the right thing, or what is the right steps to get it out?
It's the right thing. Jeff Novinsky is the right thing. That's the right thing right there. No. I think taking away the financial gain to start with, people say for me it's a money-hungry grab. In the sort of sense it is, I think if you just take away the financial incentive, then the cheaters wouldn't want to do it. Then they'll think twice, if I get caught, then, if you take away the money, they wouldn't do it. It's just a clause in the contract saying the cheater doesn't benefit at all, because right now it pays to cheat. But if you take that away, then it makes it pretty even. It'll take a bit of time, and no cheater will start cheating, using steroids and shit. So that's the way I see it. Before someone dies.
Mark, where does fighting in your hometown, how does this compare to other achievements you've had?
Oh man, not really. It's pretty good. It's great to be fighting for this amount of time. My achievements are my kids, of course, always. This is just I've been doing this 21 years as a pro at the top end of 2 different sports. 25 or 6 something years, I forget. But a long time. I started kickboxing. I had my first fight about a K down the road from here, ever in a ring of Muay Thai. So, to be back here with the biggest company in the world, UFC, in a different sport, it's pretty amazing, especially being the oldest guy. The oldest guy fighting. So, 43 years old and, still getting it done.
And after the last performance against Overeem, where people were sort of counting you out, does it feel to, prove that you still got it?
Well, man, he's always going to be a cheating bum. That's what I thought. That's what he's always going to be to me. Regardless whether he beat me, he's always going to have that cloud over his head. All his achievements, you don't know whether they're done by steroids or not. So, sorry, Alistair, you're a cheat. It's the bottom line. So.
Hey, Mark, as you say, you are the oldest guy. You have taken a fair bit of punishment the last few years. How much longer can you go on, mate?
Well, I'm not slurring my speech, and I'm still alive, so you can't kill me yet, man. The old dog is still going, man. I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm still beating the top end guys. I said if I can't start beating these guys, then I would retire. If these guys are too good for me. But the last 2 guys are cheaters, and this guy here, he's number 6, and I beat him. So he's younger than me. I'm not gonna. I don't like listening to anyone saying you can't do this, can't do this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a fighter. I wouldn't be one of the best fighters in the world.
Mark, at the UFC 200 open workouts, you wore the UFC's We Are All Fighters t-shirt. Was that specifically to show support for the LGBT community, and why was that important to you?
What t-shirt?
The We Are All Fighters t-shirt that you wore to the open workouts at UFC 200.
To be honest, you want the honest question or you want the lies?
Whatever you want.
Well, it was a t-shirt I was given, so.
Sweet, okay, all good.
Mark, amazing win tonight. I just want to know what's going to be the go-to meal tonight after
the weigh-in?
What a smart prick you are. I've got some Polynesian food at the gym waiting. You know, I was going to take my boys out to have some KFC, some steak and cheese pies, maybe a couple of long donuts. I don't know.
Do you mean a Big Mac from McDonald's, you mean?
Well, whatever you want.
Oh, please.
Mark, how much did the home crowd cheering you on, how much did that spur you on tonight?
It's great. You know, I had a rough go from 60 minutes about 12, actually about 15 years ago, no, a bit longer. I didn't get no help from then on in. You know, to be coming out walking with my country of birth is pretty amazing, the support. You know, I've been 21 years here in New Zealand, Kiwi, and 22 years in Australia. So, you know, it was a great feeling to walk out. It's kind of a surreal feeling. It's better than drugs. Way better. Better than steroids, Jeff Nowinski. But no. Do you guys know who Jeff Nowinski is? No, okay, sorry. Well, if you want to know, I'll tell you now.
And how's your left leg doing? It was looking a bit iffy out there.
It's fine. Like the arm, like the eye, it's fine. If it's not broken, then I'll still be good.
Mark, good performance tonight. You mentioned before the sort of 44 hours you have between weigh-in and fight. Did that make a difference? And do you think that's something you'd like to see more often, the big gap between weighing in and fighting?
I think that's great. A few fighters have died from weight cuts. I know what it's like. It's hard. I got beat up. I think I got nearly 500 or 400 punches in the head from Stipe one time in Adelaide. I cut 11 kilos in a day. It's not good. You won't get a good performance out of any fighter cutting weight like that. I think it's a great idea. It gives the fighters a chance to rehydrate, put on a great performance, and not die.
Now you've put Australasian mixed martial arts on the map with your career, and 2 young Kiwis fighting tonight, and there's a couple of young Australians as well. Like, you know, for you, do you look at? I mean, you probably didn't have time to look at the fights. I don't know, but do you look at that with a bit of pride that they may not have been here if it wasn't for someone like you know, paving the way?
Yeah, to be honest, but they made their own way here. You know, they didn't. I didn't drop blood for. I mean, they dropped their own blood to get here. You know, so you know, kudos to them. I can't take the credit for their accomplishments, just mine. But yeah.
Mark, I know you're always pretty loath to call guys out, but you said you want to fight anyone above you, and I think Velasquez is about the only guy left that's above you that you haven't fought. I mean, do you have an opponent in mind though that you'd like to see again?
Hopefully JDS. I can get JDS for Japan. You know, like a rematch with him or Alistair, one of those two.
Okay. And when's the
Anyone.
Japan card?
What's that?
When is the Japan card, or?
September 23rd.
Okay. And you feel in terms of health and stuff like that, you'd be good to go around that time of the year?
Yep. Cool. I'm always ready to go.
I feel like I have to redeem myself after that question, Mark. It's been an amazing journey, obviously, since you got spotted outside the nightclub all those years ago. You've since been to Japan, won the K1, released a book. It feels like a lot's happened since the book, and we could almost see another book or another story. Is there going to be something we can see afterwards to see everything that's happened since the release of your book?
You know, I think they released it out in England and Japan. Just got to translate. Where you going, no? No. Yeah, so England released and Japan getting released there. Just got it translated. I was just doing a doco, just finishing this. Probably if I'd lost this fight, probably the doco would be finished. But you know, the career still continues. I was in when I finished if I got fired already, but no, he said no, I'm cool. So we're cool. I think it's called Born to Fight, like the book Born to Fight. Would you like to know the stats and the